Hello, my name is Carmen de Mattos. I'm a professor and a researcher. Today I will introduce you the open class of the course Qualitative Research Method, Ethnographic Approach. Let's go. I started as a teacher very early when I was 16, and I worked for 17 years in a system of education in Rio de Janeiro. Then I moved to São Paulo and I worked at Mackenzie University, and then as a university professor at Fluminense Federal University in Niterói. After that, I moved to the State University of Rio de Janeiro, and lately I work as an international visitor scholar for the Catholic University of Munich, where I taught for about a year last year, online, of course. And now I create Prisma, the business company that's promoting this course. But let me talk about my education, with whom I study. I start in pedagogy course, and then I have many specialized courses and master degrees. But one that was very important was in social psychology at Pontifícia Catholic University of São Paulo, where I met Paulo Freire, my mentor, and I consider him one of the most important educators in the world. But I didn't stop there. I went to United States to do a master's degree and a PhD in education at University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. But I didn't stop them either. I was visiting scholar in sociology of knowledge of University of Paris, where I work comparing ethnographic work in Brazil and the United States and in France. And then I moved to Sydney University in 2008, where I met Ryan Conner, one of iconic person on gender studies. With her, I learned to do interviews. And then I started working on digital ethnography. And I went first to Cambridge University in UK, and then University of British Columbia in Canada. So with this background, I believe I can assure you that you're going to have a good classes in ethnography. Our program starts with qualitative method and specialize in ethnography, which I consider is effective study to processes of inclusion and exclusions. These processes are often implicit or even invisible to the eyes of the researcher. So this dynamic is hardly measured directly. It needs to be investigated from the context through which qualitative methodology is very useful. Ethnography can grasp the most predictable pattern of, but although it look into the human daily routine, and can also assess events that's less predictable. Ethnography has a set of qualitative techniques of data collected that allowed us to know the meaning of cultures. Therefore, participant observation is the central tool of ethnography, which include fieldwork, interviews, dialogue, life stories, and sometimes participatory action research. Ethnography is not only a method, but it is a posture, is a process, is an attitude that floats our attention, that's never neutral, always looking for the production of meaning. Ethnography studies culture, groups, individuals in their own context, try to integrate their action to real world. Ethnography could be used to promote change in education, social work, and several other fields. But then, let me talk about the topic of our program. I will list them. The dialectic between classical and modern research methodology, modes of inquiry in contemporary research, the analytical X, knowledge and culture, research instruments, fieldwork, interviews, and others, analysis process, what counts as a data, research report, how you write your dissertation, your thesis, your research report, impasse and development, how to do a field work in endangered places, digital ethnography, the challenge of the digital age, how to do ethnography in pandemic times, and the last, critical theory and students' voice approach. Those are the 10 topics that we're going to have in our classes. But we need strategy to do that. So what is the didactical strategy? How we are going to organize this course? Is organized in 3 ways: authors, concepts, and context. Who are the authors? I'm going to cite some of them. First, Frederick Erickson from University of California. He is my mentor. He's one of the iconic in ethnography, especially video ethnography. He worked with video since the 60s. He one of the best and can help us to deal with the digital age in social interaction and in face-to-face interaction in digital. Another one is Howard Becker, a sociologist from Chicago who is specialized in gangs, in groups, and disadvantaged groups. And another one, not less important, is Irving Goffman, who tried to teach us about social interaction. And Clifford Geertz. Geertz talk about the thick description. How can you have a dense description that can report the scene exactly how it is? And we have Sarah Pink, one of the newest in the field because she worked with digital ethnography and she's very good in what she does. And then we have James Pradhan, even though he's no longer with us, is an anthropologist who helps us to go in the field and asking questions. How we can ask the question in the field? How can we learn from the field? Asking questions that's pertinent to what we are searching for. And then we have George Marcus and James and Martin Hamsley. Hamsley, it's very interesting because he teaches us how to create hypotheses, ethnographic hypotheses. What is ethnographic hypothesis? It's a hypothesis that's created along with the process, is always changed. So he called it progressive hypothesis, and I love his work. And then we have Walcott. Walcott is one of the primary studies is a primary author on state case studies. He worked studying one principal in school for about 2 years. He wrote a very interesting book about it. And Johan Meehan, who worked in the border of Mexico and the United States, dealing with second language acquisition. He studied students that doesn't go well in school because they don't acquire the English language, good enough to pass. And he asked about tracking system, how the tracking system track a student behind their grade level and keep them from progressing. He has a very good work too. So those are the actors that we may work with, and we can have much more. But those are the principles that are the principal ones that we're going to talk about. But let's see which concepts are we going to discuss. Of course, ethnography, participant observation, critical theory, reflexivity, thick description, as Geertz tells us, student's voice, meta-ethnography, which is a new area in the field, An ethnographic interview, what's the difference between the others interviews and an ethnographic interview? We're going to see that. Ethnographic case study. Is it a case study, one person, one city, one group, one classroom, one institution, or just one person? We have to see how it works. Digital ethnography. We cannot do ethnography today's day without digital. So let's learn how to do it. And microethnography, that Erickson teaches us very well. And many, many other concepts. But those are the ones that we're going to talk about, certainly. And then let's see the context. Of course, the context is going to be Brazil, because I live here, I study here, and I work here for a long time. Actually, I did 22 research in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro, in classrooms. So, but Brazil is very, very huge country. I live in Rio de Janeiro, one of the most beautiful countries in the world. But then there is many contrasts. We have more than 1,000 favelas who are combined with the most rich uh, rich places in Rio. So they are incrustated in the best place that we can live. At the same time, they have excruciating disadvantaged situation, a space of living, crowd space of living. And then we have São Paulo. São Paulo is the business city in Brazil, one of the largest in South America. And São Paulo also holds one of the most important universities in Brazil and South America. And so we cannot pass by without talk about São Paulo, and especially about the richness and how economically and financially São Paulo is the main city in Brazil. And certainly not, we can avoid talking about the Amazon, the indigenous people, the Amazon River, the Amazon region. So we're going to talk about the Amazon, and especially because in terms of environmental, is one of the most important topics in the world. This is the context that I live in, and I hope you're going to enjoy to talk about these issues. But I have some assignment too, so at least 5 assignments. One is reading the books and articles that I will suggest, and the reference is going to be available for you in our platform. And watching the suggested video on the themes that we're going to explore. Visiting websites. On each class, I will offer you suggestions for websites that you can visit and learn from. And 2 main tasks. One is making familiar strange. What means that you're going to collect a set of cards and you're going through your day making notes about what you do daily in every single hour or every single minute that you living in. So this is a task that is the first task that we're going. I'm going to talk about that later, explain how it works. And the second and the last one is called evidentiating difference, which means that you're going to interview someone that's different from you, very different from you. You're going to be surprised how it's interesting to find someone different from you. So if you have any problem, any question, any difficulty with these assignments, you're going to find me on my email that's going to be in a post. So this is the open class that it will be available for you in our site, and you're going to access for free. Thank you very much, and I hope you is going to sign for my classes.